Okay, so what we did last time was work on the basics of 1 point perspective. So we did our basic building blocks here. We had all of our terms. We had our horizon, our vanishing point. Our main rule for linear perspective is all vertical lines are parallel when it comes to 1 point, as well as this rule will apply to 2 point once we get to that. And sorry, I'm taking a roll real quick. Okay. So what we're going to do today is we're just going to add a couple different details and talk about how to do that. So this demo for this, you need to complete this page and submit that. You'll see that, and I'll go over that in just a minute when we're done with this next demo. Okay, so what we're going to do is just add a few details and look at if we wanted to add something like a light pole or a stop sign or something, how easy that would be. So again, and we're going to talk about your practice, but we're not going to do that until after the demo. So this is not something you need to follow along. This is just going to be part of a demo video you can watch, so that way you can use that as part of your practice. So here's our vanishing point here. Again, we can have whatever it is that we're drawing here has to be flat. Verticals are parallel. So we're kind of moving through. I'll try to get this pretty quick. So we got a flat shape there. Again, your horizon can be erased away as you go, or you can do that at the end, whatever suits you. Of course, remember one of the main things here is a converging line. All lines that represent tops and bottoms of things that are on the side facing the vanishing point must go to the vanishing point. So lining it up, move my hand so you can kind of see. All right, parallel vertical. Again, if I have a clear ruler, it helps. I can kind of see and line it up and make it parallel. Now I have my building. Okay, so this is what we did for the demo. Of course, I erase away the converging lines I don't need. Now, one thing I want to talk about is if I had a building that had some openings or windows or a door or whatever it is, or just lines that represent maybe each floor, kind of like a glass skyscraper. So if I had lines that represented that, let's see, I'll do a few of them. So I would do the horizontal lines on the flat surface first, keeping those parallel. All right. Just a few, so that way it's enough for you to kind of see how it would work. Or a parking garage or something where it's all these horizontal lines that represent that. Okay. Move that down there. Okay. Now, once I want to draw those lines here, those aren't parallel anymore. On this side, they're converging lines. So the number one mistake made by students typically, is going to be having those to where they are, I'm moving this around. Having those to where they are parallel to this top one and they're all slanted. When in reality, they go from here to the vanishing point. So all you have to do is each time the line touches that vertical, is line that up to your vanishing point and draw the line. And I'm just going to kind of put dots here so you can see that's converging to the vanishing point. And everyone after that is, okay? So it's converging. This one converges. This one converges. Notice each time I'm lining up to the vanishing point, this one converges. So now it looks like it's closing into the distance, okay? And that's how I would add. If I had different things, like say there was lines that represented the windows and they were offset or whatever, all those would be verticals. So let's say that if there were some lines that kind of came down through the middle of this, every other section or something, then those lines would also be vertical on this side, Because remember, our number one rule, verticals are parallel. And maybe the building looks something like that, right? Or maybe I'm doing a drawing of Legos or something. I don't know. It doesn't matter. As long as if it's in 1 point perspective, all these lines on this side have to converge. All the lines on the flat side stay parallel and relative to each other, okay? And that's just how you would add anything that has a top and bottom. If it's a window, if it's an opening, if it's a garage opening, if it's a door, if it's a top or bottom and it's on this side, it'd be flat. If it's on this side, it would converge. Verticals, which would be the left and right side of a door or window, would be vertical. They stay vertical no matter which side they're on. Another thing, let's say we have a street. Just kind of draw it all the way out, right? And maybe, I don't know, maybe there's something like that, right? So now let's say there's going to be some light poles, and I want a bunch of light poles with kind of lights sticking out like that. Well, to do that, you just follow the exact same rules. Light poles, hopefully, are vertical, right? Sometimes they lean, I guess, but in general, a light pole would be vertical. So what you have to do is lightly draw converging lines to represent where the bottom, and I'll do it over here actually, away from the building. Lightly draw a converging line that represents the bottom where they would touch. Kind of hold it up there, you can barely see. But you can see it's pretty lightly drawn because I'm going to erase all that away. And then we draw another one that represents where the tops would be, slightly. Right? And that's plenty enough. It's way over here out of my way. So then I can draw vertical lines that fit in between each one of those converging lines. Now, I'm just eyeballing my spacing. Obviously, I could get very technical and make sure I measure it out and so on. Oops. Okay. Those are all vertical and they're all parallel. So every vertical line, vertical, 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 vertical. Now, none of these lines are vertical because they're flat on the surface. So they're converging, that's converging, that's converging. Now, if I want to draw the section of lights hanging over the road, what I could do is come over here and draw another converging line that just represents how far out those would come. And maybe we could do that, right? If you wanted to kind of line it out, keep it mapped out. Then these will be horizontal. That other converging line just represents how tall or how far down you want to add them. But you could just put that out and then see how far out you want to go. Again, you could do that. Or you could do it off the top of them. It doesn't matter. Horizontal. Making sure that the horizontal is going to be parallel with the ground, right? Only comes out so far. Right? Figure out where everything's going to go. And then you can go back and add. So you can add, something at the top if you wanted to further out. If this is like telephone poles and lights and things, you can keep adding converging lines that connect, that come out through, that become kind of the wires, right, that you see on the highways. And then if there's a light on it, like we mentioned, you could come down and kind of add your light shape however you want and go along. So following the rules with converging lines and verticals, we can create real simple, basic looking telephone pole, light poles, or something like that, right? Very easy. These details are the same thing as if we drew something that we saw the bottom of, just like we did our billboard in our first demo. Same idea. Of course, we draw the flat shape facing us, right? And then we converge. And I'm going really fast just so that way you guys can kind of pause and play back, whatever you need to do to figure these things out. But this is all what we did in the first demo. Again, parallel, vertical. And then this guy back here is parallel to that top edge, just like that. So there's our piece there. So the same thing applies if I want tops and bottoms. And you might actually want to write a word on this side of this billboard. And to do that, you can line up and do converging line represents the top of the word or letter and then the bottom. And let's say I wanted to draw, I don't know, a capital E for Eric or something. Then I can draw the vertical of that backside of the E. I could draw that here. And that's a parallel vertical, even though it's on this side that converges. Remember, all that rule, parallel vertical, right? Then I can come over here on the edge and draw maybe the top and bottom there, and then that converges back towards the vanishing point. And this will be, I'm just building the letter E. Same for this one, converges. When in doubt, if it's not vertical, it's probably going to the vanishing point, right? If it's on a side that's going back that way. And then let's say, go over here and draw the small vertical that's in the middle, right? Actually, I'll take that down a little further so we can get some space. Easier for you to see. Pencil needs sharpening. Let's do that. And then I'll line it up to the vanishing point down here. Line this one up vanishing point. I might have to draw a little further than I think I need because I got to draw the other verticals that connect those, right? So I can line that up, make sure it's parallel to the other verticals. Now I'll just fix those little lines. That's where those go. And then I can erase away what I don't need. All right. And then there, I have an E that's in proper 1-point perspective. And then, of course, if it was over here, it would be parallel vertical. The horizontals will be parallel. So all the verticals are parallel, right? All right. So it's, it'd match up if I was doing it on this side. Of course, I'd use my ruler because it's on the flat surface. Okay. Same thing if I had added something down here. But then something we did in the last one too is you can add kind of a pole or 2 poles or something if you wanted to represent the actual thing that's holding it up or something. Right? Real simple, basic little details. We can add something that's standing up like a light pole, telephone pole. We can add things to the surface of the billboard using the same rules, converging lines, parallel verticals. And that's it. And that's our additional demo that goes along with our first demo from class last time. Okay, so that's the only addition that I want to make for this 1-point perspective demo.